My name is Corinthias Pamatang Morgana Sianipar from School of Business and Management, Institut Teknologi Bandung. My student identity number is 290110006. I would like to present my paper entitled Understanding the Expectation of Prospective Entrepreneur about the Use of Social Media in Their Future Business. The outline of my presentation. The first is introduction, including the background of this study. The second is research question, and then literature review, and the theoretical framework based on the literature review. Next, I will explain about the methodology which is used in this study and the data collecting, and then the result and the discussion. The last two will explain about the conclusion, the proposition from the study, and further research insights from other researchers who will continue in this research to another study. This is the introduction of my study. Indonesia is the fourth most populous country in the world after China, India, and USA, with approximately 3.4% of the world population. These facts make Indonesia as the world's biggest developing country. Of that number, the number of Indonesian entrepreneurs in January 2012 reached about 1.56% of Indonesia total population, increases from 0.24% in 2010. Very small number of the micro, small and medium enterprises when compared to the population of Indonesia is considered as a threat to national economic resilience. Economic conditions become less healthy on the threat of a crisis. From the records of the 1998 economic crisis, it had been proven that small-medium enterprises actually more likely to survive than large business. Moreover, the Indonesian government estimates that the minimum amount of entrepreneurs in Indonesia to get an appropriate economic resilience is about 2% of the total population, or about 3.8 million people. It is targeted to be achieved in 2014. On the other hand, the Indonesian Ministry of Cooperative noted that educational level was inversely related to interest in becoming entrepreneurs. High school graduates who are interested to be an entrepreneur, only about 22.63%, while college graduates only 6.15%. Surprisingly, primary school and junior high schools who want to become entrepreneur even reaches 32.46%. It can be interpreted that a lot of effort still needed to make college graduates, both vocational and academic education, to be more interested in becoming entrepreneur. Every college graduate as a group of well-educated young people should be formed and trained to be a formidable entrepreneur candidates. Every prospective entrepreneur wants to develop their successful business at the future. Based on the fact that many SMEs still lack adequate support for accessing the market, most of them generally choose social media as their tool to support their business development. As the rapid growth of technology in this third era of internet technology, social media become the most promising technology to connect people virtually. Since Web 2.0 transformed the internet from a static content container for the web user into an active conversation, sharing, and collaborative content creating medium, it becomes new foundation of modern communication. The ubiquity of social media make it as a medium of communication which can be implemented widely in many different places and time, so it has been frequently used in many fields. Business, of course, have repeatedly sought to use social media for various purposes. McNear, Watanabe, and et al. Note that business tend to treat social media as a generation of technology supporting user-driven media that enable active participation for business activities. Even though the business is not yet funded, it is possible that prospective entrepreneurs have their own expectation about the future implementation of social media. However, their expectation may not match with their choice of what social media they will use. So, the expectation of prospective entrepreneur about the use of social media in their future business should be captured. Thus, this study will answer the following research questions. The first research question is about what are the expectations of prospective entrepreneur about the use of social media in their future business. And the second, what kind of social media which is appropriate with their expectations. Literature review, Kaplan and Heinlein define social media as a group of internet-based applications that build on the ideological and technological foundation of Web 2.0 and that allow the creation and exchange of user-generated content. The potential use of social media are exists in several business areas, and furthermore, the social presence in social media is influenced by the intimacy and immediacy of the medium and can be expected to be lower for mediated than interpersonal and for asynchronous than synchronous communication. In order to get easy understanding about characteristics of the use of social media, Kitzman et al. Provide a honeycomb of social media 7 functional building blocks. These building blocks are neither mutually exclusive nor they all have to be present in a social media activity. Each block allows executive to unpack and examine A. Specific set of social media user experience and B. Its implication for the firms. Table 1 adapted from Kitzman et al. Honeycomb about the functional building blocks of social media. The social media have 7 building blocks: identity, conversation, sharing, presence, relationship, reputation, and groups. And each of them is defined as the extent to which user blah 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 based on the blocks. And the third column is the implication of the functionality. This is the theoretical framework based on the literature review, of course. The use of social media in several business areas give a notion for prospective entrepreneurs to capture the opportunity to include it in their future business. Their expectations, which are connected to the use of social media, should be understood based on 7 functional building blocks of social media. So, this paper will focus on how to understand the expectation of prospective entrepreneurs about the use of social media in their future from the standardized coefficient correlation between those blocks and indicators among each block to get the expected characteristic of social media. the methodology. I will use questionnaires to measure the prospective entrepreneur's expectation. And then the responses will be analyzed statistically by using statistical software IBM SPSS Statistic 20 version 20. And then the valid and reliable data will be further processed to produce the standardized coefficient correlation or beta of social media blogs to the function of expectations. And then measurement result will be discussed and matched with the characteristic of several existing social media. This is the data collecting. The first sub-point is questionnaires and samples. The questionnaire will be developed based on the social media functional building block and spread it using online survey. In order to get precise measurement, each block is broken down into 3 or 4 items. In identity, there is use many social media, develop social media, and reveals owner identity. The conversation, sharing, presence, relationship, reputation, and groups. You can see in this table. The last groups is divided into 4 because there are 4 sub-indicators which are found in the definition of the blocks. Identity is defined as the extent to which the prospective entrepreneurs will reveal their business identity through social media to support its development. Conversations block is defined as the extent to which the prospective entrepreneur will communicate with consumers through social media. Next, sharing means the extent to which they will exchange, distribute, and receive content by using or through social media. Furthermore, presence block is defined as the extent to which the prospective entrepreneurs can know whether other social media users can access their business information. Relationship means the extent to which the prospective entrepreneurs will bind consumers to the product which are produced by their business. Moreover, reputation is defined as the extent to which they also identify the views from consumers to their business, including respective view from the others when the customer use the product. The last block, groups, is translated as the extent to which the prospective entrepreneur will establish user community of their product. In this online era, online social networking becoming more prevalent in higher education. In Indonesia, there are 3 paths of education: there are academic, vocational, and professional. As explained before, the study will address prospective entrepreneurs, especially college graduates. The samples are taken from academics and vocational paths in all education levels. The samples come from biggest education cities in Indonesia, Bandung and Yogyakarta. Minimum number of responses is around 20 respondents per indicator. So this study needs 7 blocks times 20. And then equivalent to 140 minimum respondents. In the end of the survey, 442 complete responses are collected. It is same with around 64.9% of response rate. Is the fact